Olatomiwa Donald Falaye. The All Progressives Congress, APC in Ondo State, has expressed displeasure over what it called criminal mockery of the efforts of the state's government to keep the state safe for all, irrespective of religious or political sympathy. In a statement by the party spokesperson in the state, Alex Kalejaye, the APC frowned at the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for attempting to demoralize the commitment of the APC-led government to security concerns. The statement further outlined the sincerity of the Akeredolu administration to the security of all and sundry, highlighting the various commendations that have trailed the strides of Amotekun in conjunction with other security agencies. State chapter further advises the PDP to raise its stand of criticism. Meanwhile, a joint patrol between officers of the Nigerian Army and the Ondo State Amotekun Corps has led to the arrest of 37 suspected criminals in the state. Officers of the 32 Artillery Brigade and the Corps on Friday launched a joint patrol which saw officers of the security agencies scout the nooks and crannies of the state to smoke out criminals. Osrc's Richard Ilesomi reports that the joint patrol has buried rumors of a frosty relationship between the army and the Amotekun Corps, which allegedly led to the withdrawal of the military men from checkpoints some months ago.
A robust synergy between the Nigerian Army and the Amotekun Corps in Ondo State. Officers of the two security agencies patrolling the nooks and crannies of the state to flush out criminals. The 32 Artillery Brigade and the Amotekun Corps last Friday launched a 24-hour joint patrol in the state's 18 local government areas to reassure residents of their safety before, during and after the Fitri celebration. The patrol entered the 5th day on Tuesday, a show of force of some sort that began from Ondo Road through Cathedral, Obadeshida Road, Fuwashaye and the Alagbaka axis of the state capital. The officers also extended the exercise to other areas in the state capital as the operation was done simultaneously in the 3 senatorial districts. Expected to end on Thursday, the exercise has led to the arrest of 37 suspected criminals nabbed in different parts of the state for crimes including kidnapping, armed robbery, internet fraud, contravention of anti-open grazing laws, among others. Parading the suspects at the Amotekun headquarters in Akure, Commander of the Corps, Adetunji Adeleye, said they were caught and arrested in collaboration with the military during the ongoing sweep of the state.
Recorded a number of criminal activities inclusive of kidnap at the border towns of Ondo State. But as we talk, because of the heat on these kidnappers, they were able to release the victims. So as we talk now, we don't have any kidnapped victim anywhere in Ondo State with the kidnappers. We were also able to follow grassroots intelligence reports, analyzed, and we were able to clamp down on their hideouts, and will continue to do that.
Adeleye commended the police, DSS, and NSCDC for their collaborations to make the state safe, said Amotekun will continue to work with them to effectively secure the Sunshine State.
Happy working together, and we don't have any problem at all with the army. They are playing the roles they are supposed to play in curtailing and curbing crime in Ondo State. And I tell you that most of the major successful operations going on around the state to rid the state of criminal elements, the army has been actively involved, just like the police, the civil defense, and the Department of State Security Service.
This joint security arrangement is a clear signal that hard times await criminals in the state, as the commander of Amotekun Corps say they are ready to flush them out no matter what it takes. Richard Ilesomi, Osrc News.
In the meantime, host communities are currently at loggerheads with Okomu Oil Plantation Company in Edo State over the outfit's decision to dig trenches to protect its fruits from being stolen. The community are kicking that the trenches had cut them off the road they used every day. However, Okomo Oil insisted that the trenches were dug on its land and had not blocked the community's access road. The protest, which started about 3 days ago, however, became bigger as men, women and youth captured Okomo's action, saying the company was treating them as slaves on their fatherland. Meanwhile, an explosion has killed 2 persons at a flow station in the oil-producing community of Izombe in Oguta local government area of Imo State. The explosion occurred in the early hours of Wednesday at the facility operated by Adex Petroleum Development Nigeria Limited. The police public relations officer in Imo, Mr. Michael Abatam, confirmed the incident to journalists. He explained that the Commissioner of Police in Imo immediately drafted the command's anti-bomb unit as well as some operatives of the command to the area to prevent any breakdown of law and order. An eyewitness in the community also disclosed that the 2 persons affected in the explosion were carriers of the bomb. Still talking security. The Nigerian Army has condemned the recent killing of 2 soldiers by suspected members of the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, saying the secessionist group is not protecting the interests of the Igbo. Director of Army Public Relations, Onyema Onwachuku, made the assertion in a statement 3 days after gunmen killed and then beheaded 2 soldiers at an unknown location in Imo State. Following the gruesome murder, military authorities confirmed that the victims, Linus Audu, a retired master warrant officer, and his partner, Gloria Matthew, a private, were traveling to Imo State for their traditional wedding when they were attacked and killed by the gunmen. The army spokesperson expressed surprise that the outlawed group killed the female soldier despite being an indigene of the southeast, where the terror group claim they are on a mission to protect and liberate. Meanwhile, gunmen have reportedly attacked Kautikari, a local ward in Chibok local government of Borno State. Local officials in Chibok confirmed that gunshots were heard around Kautikari at about 6 p.m. on Tuesday. According to the eyewitnesses, the sounds continued for almost 1 hour before a military reinforcement was seen heading towards the village under attack. There are no details of the attack at this moment, but the military is reportedly engaging the criminals. This attack comes months after gunmen attacked 3 communities, Kwatakare, Karum and Pemi, in the local government area. Meanwhile, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres early on Tuesday visited Borno State, where he met with Governor Zulum and later embarked on a field mission where he met families affected by the Boko Haram conflict ravaging the region for more than 12 years. Guterres is expected to meet President Muhammadu Buhari and other top government officials today. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, has charged troops of the operation Hadarin Daji operating in the northwest region to eliminate terrorists and criminals in the region. Yahya gave the charge in Sokoto, where he had lunch with troops in Isa local government area as part of Eid al-Fitr celebration with the troops. He had earlier performed the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Nigerian Army Forward Base operating base located in Isa local government area of Sokoto State. The eastern flank of Sokoto State has been an epic center for the banditry activities that has caused the destruction of lives and property. The Army Chief said the need for a forward operating base is necessary so as to bring closer the men and officers of the Army. The social and economic implication of land border closure is taking an integral point in the discussion of many Nigerians following the recent directive of the federal government for the reopening of 4 more border posts hitherto closed. The federal government had in 2019 ordered a total closure of the country's land borders as part of efforts to boost local production and curb smuggling of arms. Sahid Aribisala reports that while some Nigerians commended the move, others want government to place premium on securing the border post with modern technology.
The Idiroko border post, a link between Ogun State, Nigeria and Benin Republic, is finally opened after over 2 years of closure. Also opened were 3 land border posts in Jibia, Katsina State, Ikom in Cross River State, and Kamba border post in Kebbi State. Iteto closed in 2019. The federal government had announced total closure of land borders, placing a ban on both legitimate and illegitimate movement of goods to stimulate local production and prevent the smuggling of illegal arms. While the Federal Executive Council had also in December 2020 reopened 4 major borders, the latest reopening of additional 4 has drawn reaction from Nigerians. While some commended government for the reopening, others said the closing in the first place was misplaced and did not achieve anything positive.
Already, the price of goods and commodities that are supposed to have cushioned the effect of this hard economy in Nigeria has gone up. So if that's just bringing in rice into Lagos State now, it's like throwing a peanut for a hungry, a peanut of corns for a hungry fowls. So the inflationary trend has become too high. How are we going to measure it down? It doesn't have any change. It doesn't add any effect to our security. Instead, it was becoming alarming. We are all on social media. We saw what is happening.
Some, however, expressed the need for government to deploy technology in the monitoring of borders and professionalism from custom officials.
The government needs to do a lot of engineering in that area. Engineering in the sense that they need to use scientific method of monitoring border posts. Because the land border in Nigeria, we have the greatest border in the whole of Africa. From north to south, east to west. Everywhere is porous. Anybody can just come in and out easily. I think the government needs to be on top of their game.
In the food industry, we've had more people going into agriculture, especially in rice production, local rice processing, and marketing as such. So it encapsulates the entire food value chain, and other industries are springing up in other related commodities, which has forced us, made us to look inwards to see how we can generate and grow our own food rather than relying on imports.
At least to certain percentage, high percentage, the government had been able to achieve a great effort in making sure that food is available in the country.
There are over 15 land borders in Nigeria, and with the reopening of more borders, Nigerians are hopeful that the socio-economic implication will be in the country's favor in the face of geopolitical realities such as the Russia-Ukraine war. Sahid Aribisala, OSRC News.
You're watching OSRC News at 7. We'll bring you more stories after this break. Come back, you can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook, OSRC TV Ondo, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel, OSRC TV Ondo. Nigerians have been encouraged to continue to trust God for better times ahead despite challenges confronting the country. The chairman, Ondo State Christians Welfare Board, Very Reverend Raphael Agbola, during the May edition of the Board's monthly prayer meeting, assured that God remains committed to helping Nigeria. OSRC's Bisola Luko was at the program, and the report is presented from our studios.
Defying the early morning downpour, attendees of this month's fasting and prayer program of the Ondo State Christians Welfare Board expressed gratitude to God for the privilege of life and other blessings. In his sermon at the program, Chairman of the Christian Welfare Board, Raphael Agbola, assured Nigerians that God, who has solution to every problem, will intervene in the affairs of the nation. Very Reverend Agbola encouraged Christians not to relent in trusting God and his promises to solve the problems of man. The cleric also charged Christians and Nigerians generally to participate actively in governance process as the 2023 elections draw near to engender good leadership for the country.
The way out of this problem in this nation and this state is for us to put our trust in. Also our responsibility to also participate in politics. Let all Christians go and collect their voters' cards, pray, and also go and vote.
Participants at the fasting and prayer program said their faith has been lifted to continue to trust God for better days ahead.
So, real believers, they must trust God.
In this nation that Nigeria is now, the only thing that can keep us is trusting in the Lord according to the word of the servant of God.
It is only God that can solve the problems we have in Nigeria. For example, the problem of insurgency. It is only God we are trusting to help us quell this fire in Nigeria.
Prayers were also offered for the progress and development of Ondo State, Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu and his cabinet, as well as his family. The fasting and prayer program of the Ondo State Christian Welfare Board holds on first Wednesday every month.
Now to some political stories. Governor of Ekiti State and former Minister of Mines and Steel, Kayode Fayemi, has declared his intention to run for the seat of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The governor, while unveiling his agenda for the country, said after consideration of where the nation is, he believes his entry into the race will rebirth a new Nigeria. He said it has been his honor to have been an active part at various times with other committed compatriots laboring from various walks of life, laboring with determination towards rapid and sustained national progress. The former minister said the decision to run was not one he took lightly, but had made several consultations before arriving, making his intention known. The governor of Cross River State, Professor Benayade, has directed his appointees seeking elective offices to quit with effect from Thursday, May 5. He gave the order in a statement by his special advisor, Media and Publicity, Christian Ita. According to the statement, the governor directed that any political appointee presently serving in his government but desires to seek an elective position in the forthcoming 2023 elections is at liberty to do so. The statement further disclosed that the governor was set to reshuffle his cabinet. A 45-year-old resident of Lekki in Lagos State, Mr. Abidemi Rufai, has pleaded guilty to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft in the United States. Rufai, who has been in custody since he was apprehended at New York's JFK Airport in May 2021, was a special assistant to Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State at the time of his arrest. Days after the report of his arrest emerged, Governor Abiodun suspended Rufai from office to answer for the charges against him. About 1 year after, U.S. Attorney Nick Brown announced that Rufai pleaded guilty to using stolen identities to claim hundreds of thousands of dollars in pandemic-related unemployment benefits during his arraignment at the U.S. District Court in Tacoma. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has visited the UN House in Abuja, the nation's capital. His visit to the UN House comes 1 day after the UN scribe arrived in Nigeria on a 2-day official visit, the first since he assumed office. Guterres, who was in Borno State on Tuesday, arrived at the UN facility in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, a few minutes after 9 a.m. in the company of some UN top officials and diplomats. Shortly after his arrival, he met with top officials of the organization in Nigeria, while journalists were, however, barred from covering the meeting. As part of the activities lined up for the strip, the UN scribe also performed the laying of wreath ceremony in honor of the victims of the August 26, 2011 suicide bomb attack that claimed at least 26 lives. Nigerians have condemned the various unhealthy methods and approaches used in cooking meals, saying they are dangerous to human health. According to nutritionists, such practices are contributors to the increasing rate of chronic diseases in Africa. Omoriola Hungbeji has details.
One may wonder why the increase in cases of cancer and other related diseases in Africa where natural foods are dominant. Investigation by the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, reveals that cases of grievous and unprecedented health complications like liver and kidney failure, cancer diseases, among others, are increasing in Africa due to the harmful cooking practices, poverty, and ignorance of citizens. Some residents of Akure, the Ondo State capital, condemned these acts.
It is those people that are doing it to stop it. Because government cannot be there helping you put in all those things into the food or anything, but it is we that we can stop it.
There's nothing good that the chemical is doing to the body. So mixing chemical to any food is amount to poison.
Various unhealthy methods and approaches currently used in cooking, including the use of paracetamol in softening meat and beans, cooking beans with nails, pouring of beer into amala, among others.
Dangerous to the health of the eater of the food. The government should do something about it by arresting those who are practicing such behavior.
A nutritionist with the Ondo State School of Health Technology, Akure, Mr. Charles Bankole, said such acts should be discouraged to avoid increase in chronic diseases. He warned people who patronize food vendors at cafeteria, fast food joints, and so on, to be wary of what they put in their stomach.
That it has contributed to a lot of people coming down with a lot of diseases, a lot of health, problems. So in our society, this has been a very terrible thing. And unfortunately, this has cut across a lot of, food products that even one may not really know. Because many times those things may not come up immediately after consumption. It might be an accumulation of those substances in the body, that will lead to those serious problems.
A caterer, Mr. Michael Adiremi, exonerated SAFE and members of Catering Association in Ondo State, saying they engaged caterers in regular cooking training and will not encourage such acts in their profession.
We are training them very well. So we are training them how to cook or how to entertain people. So I believe for the association, no one of our members can do such of things.
While food intake remains important to life and healthy living, proper cooking cannot be sacrificed on the altar of speed or any other considerations. Omoriola Hungbeji, Osrc News.
And to the foreign scene. President Cyril Ramaphosa has acknowledged mounting public frustration with South Africa's leadership and institutions days after miners booed and drove him from a May Day celebration rally. Ramaphosa, a mining union leader under white minority rule, was first off stage and then to a police armored personnel carrier after miners shouted him down. The protest took place during a televised ceremony organized by the country's largest union, COSATU, at a stadium in the northwestern town of Rustenburg. Poverty, inequality and joblessness run high in South Africa nearly 3 decades after the end of apartheid. Ramaphosa promised to take necessary action to improve workers' lives and their working conditions. And in Haiti, one of the leaders of Haiti's most powerful gang, 400 Mawozo, has been extradited to the U.S. for smuggling weapons and kidnapping U.S. citizens. Haitian authorities said German Jolly, known as Yon Yon, was taken on an FBI plane to Washington, being in jail in Haiti for several years. Basketball team Sunshine Angels have won the maiden Southwest basketball tournament themed against drug abuse. The girls defeated their Oyo counterpart indoor hall of the Ondo State Sports Complex. Osrc's Abiodun report that the male category was won by Hoop Dreams basketball team.
For 1 week, 8 basketball teams from the southwest region of the country converged on the indoor hall of the Ondo State Sports Complex for the maiden edition of the Play Against Drug Abuse basketball tournament. The tournament was a major exposure for the players who are under age 17, and it was designed to further entrench the message against drug abuse among athletes and youths. After round-robin games, the relatively new Sunshine Angels of Ondo State were up against Hoop, who were kept on the edge of their seat points.
We are very, very happy for the competition itself. The game was tense, but we had to work as a team.
Both of them are new girls that want to parade in the league, and this kind of partner game is a good game for us to evaluate the players so that we can go back to the drawing board and work on where they are lacking.
The journey is very good for me, but for my team losing, I'm not happy.
The male final was a show of class as Hoop Dreams reigned supreme against Ekiti under-17 boys by 46 to 33 points.
We look at it that if you put it on radio or TV, many of these guys will not listen. When they hear drug abuse against drug abuse, they will just do as if they listen, they won't. So when I say, okay, fine, how do we bring them out and merge sensitization with fun, what they like to do best? That's why we now put basketball and sensitization against drug abuse into one.
This is the first edition, and I'm sure it's not the last. It's going to be a 2-year thing, 2 times in a year thing. Yes, they are having fun playing. Actually, personally, I learned from them. So if I could learn, now imagine what they will have learned from it.
According to the organizers, the outstanding performances on the court were matched with the appropriate messages against drug abuse, and they believe it will go a long way in shaping the lives of young athletes. Abiodun Adewale, Osrc News.
Is at 7. Let's take another look at the major stories. APC has condemned opposition party PDP for politicizing Ondo State government's anti-crime campaign. Fahimi has joined the 2023 presidential race. He made his declaration in Abuja today. Experts have blamed increasing cases of chronic diseases on unhealthy methods of food preparation. And finally, explosion has killed 2 people at Imo oil-producing community. And that's it on the news tonight. Thanks for watching. Good evening.